sort of Nemo then. But I think that's also one of the reasons God puts us through those struggles, whatever they are, is that so you can help others. Welcome back, everybody. It's the Chip Lunch Podcast, and I'm excited today, Braden. Do you feel excited?
I'm more excited now.
Well, first of all, I'm excited by your jersey.
Oh, yes.
Because it actually looks like it's Australia, but it's not Australia.
It's not Australia. It's not Ireland either. No.
No, it could be confused as being a bit Irish.
Yeah.
It's the Italian side Roma.
Yes.
It has the old logo, because the other logo has the...
Romulus and Remus on it.
Being fed by... What is the animal?
By a she-wolf.
A she-wolf, yeah. There you go.
There's your Roman history for today.
Yes, welcome back. This is what is it? Rest is history. And the person you can hear laughing here is Gemma.
Hello.
Welcome back to the podcast.
Thank you so much.
But the thing is that you were our first ever guest on the Chip Lunch Podcast.
Yeah, 4 years ago.
Yes.
Crazy.
That is crazy. It was like 4 years ago. I wasn't even on that podcast as well.
No, you weren't.
Yes.
You weren't.
So we'll raise the level today. How have you been?
I've been good. Very happy to be back.
You finished work, of course.
Finished work. She's in holiday mode.
Why do you talk about yourself like she's this in the third person?
I do like to talk about myself in the third person sometimes. But... You know, it's for the plot. Why not?
You just made a rhyme as well. For the plot, why not?
On point.
You'd be like, why do we get her back?
No, I'm excited to have you back.
No, we do. Jake and I often refer to, and this is a thing that I actually picked up from Greaves and Ange, was where we talk a lot about like holiday Ange, because when she's on school holidays, it's like holiday Ange comes out. And Jake... has just started using that language when Holiday Gemma appears. So, holiday mode, Holiday Gemma. She's out. She's a whole new persona, really.
It definitely has. Given my wife as a teacher, I know that I've experienced that over many years. But usually it is combined with a sickness.
Oh, definitely, definitely.
As soon as you finish.
I thankfully haven't had a sickness yet, but thankfully. But I was quite sick at the end of the term, so I feel like maybe mine just came early. I'm hoping.
Yeah, that would be good.
Yeah, it would be good. But there's, definitely the exhaustion and the crash out after the term is over.
Crash out.
And I feel like it takes a few days for you to like realise that it's like, oh, I'm on holidays.
Yeah, you got to unwind.
Yeah, like, and it
That's
was
like
kind
when
of...
you go on holidays too.
Yeah. And it was kind of like busy because we had carols. So I was like, okay, that's the next thing I'm thinking about. And then after carols, I was like, oh, like I'm done.
But what about like Christmas though? Are you like, does Christmas stress you out?
Yes and no. Like it is definitely busy, but I feel like this year isn't looking too crazy. So hopefully it should be.
What is the, I was going to say snowball, but the snowball / young Christmas, what's the general vibe? What are you usually doing on Christmas?
Well, the last few years we've tried to do both on Christmas Day, which is a lot. And this year we're like, oh, we'll try and like do one on Christmas Day and maybe one on Boxing Day or Christmas Eve or whatever. And everyone was quite receptive to that plan.
Nice.
But there's been a few slight changes, which has meant that hasn't fully worked out, but it's all right. I think it's still going to be nice, but we'll do Jake's family on Christmas Day and then my family on Boxing Day. So just
I'm doing something similar. That's
it's
cool.
good. It's good to spread it out. It's too much food, I feel.
Yeah, too much. I think like too much food plus too much traveling. If you're doing too many things, that can be annoying. Brayden, what's your general vibe on Christmas?
Mine's changed a lot because I don't have any grandparents left, so like a lot of the accountability in terms of extended family is gone.
That is the same as mine.
But church in the morning on Christmas Day. I'm doing Miranda and Kirui. That'll be fun. And then church. No, I'm just playing music at both. So that'll be fun. And then Beck's family for lunch and my family for dinner. And then I've got some extended family stuff on Boxing Day, but that's really just come hang out, watch the cricket. Whoever's there is whoever's there. That's less. Yeah, it's less. It's not as like intense or anything. It's just like whoever's around, come and hang out if you want to hang out and see everyone. So
I was having this discussion with someone at work about like what they do for Christmas as well. And then I was like, is it just an Australian cultural thing that it's like, a lot of the time you only get together with your extended family on Christmas and that's it?
Yeah, look, I feel like it's more common than I think people would think maybe. Like I see my extended family more than on Christmas, but I do feel like there's the thing of like, okay, we've seen each other like mid-year and it's like, oh, I'll see you at Christmas. It's like, well, that's 6 months away. Like it's kind of random that I'm not going to see you till then, but it does happen.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think it's pretty common.
Well, I think about that from like, part of the perspective is that we have different traditions because Karen's family is part Latvian. And so because they're from Europe, they originate from Europe, they do stuff on Christmas Eve. So we have this nice little tradition where we go to church, which I love going to church on Christmas Eve. But then we like have we give like pajamas to the kids and they get a book, like a Christmas book, basically for Christmas Eve. So I really like doing that, but it's like presents. For me, it took a while to adjust because it's like presents before Christmas Day. What are you talking about?
Yeah.
So I think it's just funny that in Australia, I'm just talking about our traditions and what they are. Sometimes it's just like, that's the only time you see your extended family on Christmas. But I see like, other people that I've met from different backgrounds are like, I see my extended family all the time.
Yeah.
So I don't know if it's a bad thing or a good thing, but I suppose like sometimes we see church as our extended family, like that community thing. We get to be part of our church family a lot. I don't know. I don't know where I'm going with that. Hey,
I will say it is the week before Christmas.
Yeah,
if you
that's
listen to this at a different point,
that's true.
Time.
Yeah.
Yes. It's less than a week, isn't it?
Yes, it's less than a week.
It'll be Boxing Day in a week.
Yeah. Yes. Ooh, cricket. Anyway.
The cricket. I always think, every time I hear boxing, I think of a boxing kangaroo. Like just two boxing kangaroos fighting each other.
Yeah, I've never understood why it's called Boxing Day. I'm like, what? Like, what does that even come from?
I'm sure it's one of those things that I Google every year and go, oh, that's what it is, and then I forget because it's not important.
No.
Hudson, can you look that up for us while we're recording?
The servants of like
servants
bosses.
of like royal family and stuff.
Boxes from all the leftover presents and stuff as like gifts.
Oh, so they get the leftovers. Is that what you're saying?
Well, I guess they just were getting boxes like it's the wrapping.
Oh, so the servants get the
really
leftover presents from...
No, that is true.
Brandon's Googling.
Brandon has to check.
Sure.
He's like, this produces off his rocker.
That'd be a pretty good story. Like, if you just made that up, that'd be
So
like...
it's just like, I'm just
say it
imagining.
confidently.
People receive Christmas boxes, gifts, money, or leftovers from their employees the day after Christmas.
So I'm imagining, right, like what you said, Hudson, Downton Abbey, they all get Christmas presents. All the rich people get Christmas presents.
Yeah.
The servants, the butlers and everything don't get any. And then on Boxing Day, they get all the ones they didn't want
Yeah.
People working on Christmas.
because they had to serve them during Christmas Day.
I was even thinking, like, they're just getting the packaging.
You get the box. Have fun.
That's true.
My cat's going to love
like,
this.
You gotta give this to your kids.
Here's some boxes. Like,
Yeah.
wow.
To be honest,
What
the
a
box
treat.
is sometimes the best part.
Oh, that's that makes me think of that ad, that MasterCard ad from a long time ago when they're like, buying this and buying that for your children, blah, blah, blah. It's one of those like, emotional kind of ads. And then it's like seeing your baby daughter play with the cardboard box the present came in, and then it goes, priceless.
Yeah.
Like, pretty good line. Pretty good line.
They're onto it.
Yeah, they're onto it. So has your, that's how we always start, has your chip preference changed?
Well,
You said you listened to your podcast.
I know. I was like, because I feel like I have changed quite a lot in the time between like the first episode.
Well, this is why we're doing this podcast.
Yeah, that's it. Look, I do still like a hot chip with chicken salt and a little bit of tomato sauce for dipping.
Okay.
But that's if I'm having chips by themselves. If I'm having chips like with something, it's like I don't eat fish and chips, but like if I'm getting like calamari and chips or like chicken and chips or something, I can't have fish because I'm allergic to it, which is why I was like, I'm not going to say fish and chips because I never eat fish and chips.
Right.
But if the chips are accompanied by something that is not just like you're having just hot chips for the sake of having hot chips, normal salt.
Yeah, a lot of people say that.
I don't like the chicken salt to like be on the other stuff.
Yeah, like if you on your calamari.
And I feel like if you go to a fish and chip shop, they will just put it on the whole thing. It's like, I don't really want like chicken on the calamari. It's kind of weird.
Not on the salad.
Yeah. Well, sometimes they go crazy with the salt shaker.
Yeah, but I didn't know you were allergic to fish.
Yeah.
How does this manifest itself? Like what?
Oh, it's just like I'm not anaphylactic, but like I'll just get like allergy kind of symptoms.
Oh, really?
But like it's only certain type. Like I can have like fresh water, like salmon and tuna, like mostly like fresh water, whatever. But I can't have like a barramundi or whatever they're cooking at like the fish and chip shop, you know?
Yeah. Okay.
Anyway, so it's kind of like a bit random. But at one of the schoolies that I think it was the last schoolies that I went on with church, we went go-karting. I'm trying to remember.
Oh, yes.
And they had like these like things that looked like chicken nuggets, but it wasn't. And I ate one and it was fish. And I remember I had the itchy feeling and I was like, oh my gosh. I was like,
I can't drive the go-kart.
Get out. So that's when I was like I don't often, like test it out, but that was a time where I was like, oh yeah, okay, this is still a thing.
So you're like a reverse pescatarian or whatever they say. Because then they just eat fish.
Yeah.
Okay, well, remember never to serve you fish anyway.
Thank you so much. Appreciate it. Okay. But I always forget. And then sometimes like at week away, there'll be just a random like fish and chip day. It's like, oh, like I forgot to mention it because I feel like
that does happen.
It's often like not something that I think will come up at like a camp or like I'm not often like, oh, we're going to be served fish, but then often I'm like, oh, whoops. Anyway, so that's how I have my chips.
Yes.
Oh, good. That's right. I was just thinking about camp food then. That's why I was a little bit phased because my son Leo went on a camp a couple of weeks ago to Narrabeen Sport and Rec and he's like, the food was pretty good. Like, oh, so it can be done.
Yeah, it can be done. It can be done. Just not all the time.
Yeah. So funny on that camp he built like rafts and stuff and they have to build it and then go out into the water and they like capsize. Anyway,
yeah, we love.
It would have been fun.
Team building
stuff. That's right. So the thing that I did hear you say though is that you think you've changed a lot in the last 4 years since we had you on the podcast last time.
Yeah. Let's
use it as the framework for this episode.
That.
Let's unpack that a little bit. Let's unpack the box of treasures that has been presented to us. So just imagine now a treasure chest. Oh. What do you think is the biggest change? What would you like? What springs to mind first time after you listened to your previous episode?
Well, I think the biggest change was like Jake and I got married. Like when we recorded the podcast, we were engaged. And like since then, like I've moved twice. Like I was thinking about this, I was like moved houses twice. Like moved out of my parents' home and then we lived in South Village for a while and then moved into the Nappers granny flat.
Oh, the granny
Shout
flat.
out for the Nappers. So yeah, like that there's been like an environmental change in that sense that like Jake and I have been married for over 3 years now. We have both like started working full time. Like when we recorded the podcast, Braden, Ethan and I used to work at the same workplace and Braden had just left, I think, but Ethan and I were still working at an after school care. So like not working a casual job, both in full-time work, like have finished uni, which was like a big one. So yeah, it's been like lots of things that kind of environmentally have changed. In terms of church, like I'm not on the youth team anymore, which is like a bit of a something that I like feel bummed about, but it was just like a new season kind of needed to start. So there's lots of like different things I feel like have happened over the course of the 4 years between when I was last on. Jake also said last night, he's like, I think you sound different. I was like, I don't know if that's a thing, but we'll find out when we listen back to this later.
What way?
I don't know. He's like, I reckon you sound different. I was like, do you want to elaborate? He's like, nah, you just sound different.
Maybe better microphones now will represent.
It's the same microphone. It's the same microphone.
But we wouldn't have had cloud lifters and stuff the first podcast, would we?
Yeah, maybe not. You might be right about that. Yeah.
The setup was pretty minimal. The first
Because I think
time.
we might have had 2, but we started really investing in them in the second lockdown.
I think you might be right, Braden. Well
So
done.
the audio quality might better represent your natural timbre
Oh,
in this episode.
Timbre or timber?
timbre.
Oh, I thought it was
Timbre is the tone
Oh,
of a musical note.
okay.
Mm.
Okay, you're like,
Yes.
yes.
Music 1. Let's go.
Music 101. Let's teach some new tricks. Sorry to bore anyone with audio
Jargon.
Thank you. Thank you for giving me
I
the
got
right
you.
word. Well done. What do you think, if you have changed, like, yeah, and it's interesting, like, when you look back at how much you do actually change, like, because when you're in the moment, you're like, I'm not changing. Nothing's happening. Nothing's happening with me. Well, that's probably how I view it. How do you think it has impacted you as a person and as like your faith as well?
Yeah, definitely. I feel like I think back to my early 20s, like, which is when we recorded the first episode. And I think at the time I was a lot more, I feel like naive is the wrong word, but I think I just was kind of going about life like, woohoo, like, here we are, early 20s. It was COVID, which, like, was pretty crap, like, to put it lightly. So I feel like there was a lot of things that I was kind of going through in that space, but I was also in the bubble of, like, being at home, like, you know, I was just kind of chugging along, didn't have the, I guess, pressures of, like, proper adulting when you know, move out and have to take responsibility for yourself.
Do your own washing, for example.
Look, I was already doing that, but, you know,
Yeah.
there were other
Doing
things
someone else's washing.
there were other things that I was not doing before. But I think I definitely, like, wouldn't view myself as maybe someone that was like, resilient or strong or capable. I think like, I look back to myself then and I was quite, like, grappled with, like, anxiety and you know, constantly overthinking things and worrying about what was going to happen, and, you know, things felt like they weren't happening in the correct way. And I think I look at myself now and it's like some of the things that I maybe would have found challenging a few years ago, it's like, oh, like, I actually feel like I can overcome those things. And I think over that time, like, I have seen God's provision, like, over my life so evidently. And I think that's both been in my environmental, like, sense and the things that have happened around me, but also in my heart. I think God has really been working and chipping away at my heart to continue to grow me into someone that wants to love and serve him and live a life that is glorifying to him. So yeah, I feel like that's kind of like a overarching little summary of, I guess, how I feel different. Like, I feel like God has really strengthened me to not let the small stuff get to me and not let those anxieties or worries become so all-consuming anymore, which is, like, quite a big thing, I think.
Because you mentioned the word resilience, and I find that, you know, sometimes it's overused, I think, but other times it might be like, yeah, some people do need a bit more resilience. What's your take on it now? And why did you say to yourself, oh, I am more resilient now?
Yeah, I think I agree with you. I think the word resilience is thrown around a lot, and I think
Especially with children.
being in a school environment, like, I'm often telling students, like, you need to grow in resilience. And it's like, what does that actually mean? Like, what does that actually look like to become resilient? And I feel like, for me, I always had in my head, it was like, if you're a resilient person, it means that you just are not fazed by stuff and you just get over stuff and you're really strong all the time. But I actually think there's a gentleness in resilience. I think there's a softness where it actually is okay to feel the hardness of something and to feel the pain of something, but it's actually the way that you where you depend on how you kind of use strategies to move past that. So I think,
keep going. Yeah.
you know, like there's things where I think as a person I've grown in my own kind of like coping strategies, and that's been, you know, through like prayer and dependence on God, but it's also been through conversations with different people, and like, you know, looking into down self-help roads, like all the things. But I think, I think resilience doesn't have to look like you've got it all together and that you're just always, you know, water off a duck's back, never letting anything faze you. Like I think it's okay for things to faze you, but I think it's about how you take those things and you roll with them, if that makes sense.
Have you got like an example that you feel comfortable to share? Because I'd be interested in that.
Yeah. I think like definitely just thinking about the mental health stuff. I think the way that used to manifest used to become so all-consuming and distracting and distressing. And I think one of the things like, and that's like, that was kind of an accumulation of environmental things being stressful, but also just things in my heart being stressful and upsetting or whatever. But I think now there's things that I still experience that are hard and stressful, but like, like an example would be the way that I like maybe come home from a hard day at work now versus how I would come home from a hard day at work then are really different. I think I know that when I come home, it's like actually taking time to reflect on the day. Like maybe that's journaling, maybe that's doing like some sort of exercise, going for a walk, maybe that's listening to music or whatever. Like I think I've just tried to incorporate those like mindful things into my week. But I actually think the biggest thing, and this is a really recent thing, is I've really tried to manage my relationship with my phone. I think that's been a really big one, particularly social media. And I think what I was finding, like as I started teaching and I've come onto school holidays, it's kind of this weird thing where it's like in the past when I was at uni or at school, when I went on school holidays, lots of my friends are around. So it's like, I'll hang out with this person. And it was a lot easier to kind of catch up with people because it's like our schedules were all the same. Whereas now it's like, I'm an adult and everyone is at their full-time jobs. And like, I feel so grateful that I have school holidays. Like I feel really grateful for that. But it was a bit of a shift in like, what do I do with this time where it's not structured? And I think for me, structure is a big part of my coping, like regulation and knowing what's happening next is, you know, a thing for people with anxiety. But it got to the September school holidays, and I think I'd gone through the April and July school holidays this year, and I was like, I hate how much time I spend on my phone, and I hate how I feel afterwards.
That's
particularly
the one,
social media. I was like, I'm really hating how this is making me feel. It would make me feel really anxious and really,
I was going to ask you, what is it?
Yuck. After sitting, and like, it's not like I'd sit there and scroll for ages and ages. Like I used to have TikTok and I deleted that like a long time ago. That was the first one to go. That was just a COVID special, I feel like.
We all had our coping mechanisms.
We all had our like coping mechanisms during that time. And I think TikTok was one of them.
It's like you've served your purpose.
Yeah, it's like be gone. But then I feel like, you know, Instagram and Facebook and lots of other social medias have kind of taken on that short form, just continue to scroll short reels videos. And I was like, I'm really hating this. Like I just feel really yuck. And I think I got to give some credit to Jake here because he has been a big advocate of like, I really want to reduce the time on my phone. He's not even big on social media. Like for him, it's like looking through news or YouTube. He's like, I really want to try and reduce this. And for ages, I was super resistant to his perspective on the phone relationship thing. But I think it got to the September school holidays and I said, I think I'm going to delete social media off my phone. And I did. And I went cold turkey for a short, like for the 2 weeks. And I was like, I'll put it back on my phone when I go back to school. And I actually haven't put it back on since then. That doesn't mean I don't go on it occasionally. Like I still can go on it through a web browser. But I think just seeing how much happier I have been, and just the way that I have, the areas I have placed my energy, just has been really positive. And I think it was interesting because the school holidays, September holidays happened, and then the first 2 weeks back of term, I was on a school trip for that time. And it was interesting having conversations with some of the students about their relationships to their phone and social media and how they feel like they need to be on it all the time. And one of our focuses as teachers was trying to reduce screen time. And I think in my own experience of what I had done in the 2 weeks prior was actually really helpful in speaking into their worlds a little bit and going, hey, actually, like, you don't need to be doing this. Like, we're all here together.
I've deleted this myself.
Yeah, like, and I think that was like quite shocking to some of them that I had deleted it. But yeah, I think that's been really helpful. And I think, you know, it's meant that I spent more time reading or listening to different things, like using my Bible app more. Like, there's other things on my phone that I do that are more mindful and more helpful. And I think,
or you just feel less rubbish after doing, you know what I mean? Yeah.
And I think even now, like, when I do go on, even for a short time, it's like my interest in it has changed so much. It's like I actually am like, oh, like, why am I wasting time on this? Like, and that doesn't mean there's like, it's always just like easy. Like, there's still times where I'm like, oh, I wish I didn't go on it for that amount of time. But I think that's probably been the biggest thing that's changed. I think a coping mechanism for me in the past would have been, I need to be on my phone to regulate. But it's like, no, that's actually not how you regulate for, you know, anxiety or whatever. Like, I'm just going to feel worse if I'm just scrolling and looking at other people's amazing lives while I'm feeling like absolute crap, you know?
I heard a really great quote from this the other day, was you're comparing people's best parts of their lives with the worst parts of your life. And that's why you feel so terrible. Or you can feel so terrible. And I'm similar now, that I went through a phase probably start of this year, when I was like, I'm just going to delete it and see what happens. And then I would sometimes download it on a Friday night and use it. And then, but as a result, I'm just not even that interested in looking at it. And I have it on my phone and I don't look at it.
Yeah.
The problem that I do have at the moment is I keep looking at X, like Twitter.
Yes.
Because I was getting information on something in particular and I was reading a lot about that. But now I'm like even getting to that point with X too. Now I'm like, oh, this isn't. So now when I go on something like Instagram or even X, it's just, a lot of it is just like football coaching content.
Yeah.
Which I'm like, but there's so much of it now. Now I'm not like even consuming that much. So it can become paralyzing in that sense as well.
Yeah.
But at least it's a bit more informative rather than comparative, I think. But I think that's a really interesting perspective. And I think one that perhaps I think a lot of people are starting to come to realise is, I think we're reaching the nadir of social media. I could be wrong, but I'm like, where does it go after TikTok?
Yeah, that's
like, I don't know what.
No.
Because the only opposite thing is like less. Like what is the social media that they're going to create that you use less? Yeah. Which is kind of like, Be Real kind of became like that. But I'm like, but now Be Real is like, oh, you can only do it unless you can't view it unless you post a photo of yourself. Yeah, that's right. So it's just not. It's like, what is the mechanism of these things? Is that you're free, you are the product, because it's free. The Instagram or whatever, anything you go on like that is free, but it's because they're using your data, your habits, everything to sell to advertisers. Yeah. So if you're using it less, social media is not going to. I don't know what's next. That's what I'm trying to say.
Yeah. Oh, definitely. And I think, you know, even in the time that like I kind of like took off when I went full cold turkey, when I got back on, it's like the algorithm didn't really know what to show me. Like I feel like it's kind of been a bit, all over the place. So I think that's also reduced my interest. It's like, oh, well, it's just showing me like, you know how Instagram has an Instagram page? Like, I'm just getting all the Instagram posts. Like, it's very, it's it's like, I don't care about these random like.
And you can reset your algorithm too. That's always interesting. Like, since I did that, this is why I get all the football coaching stuff, because that's what I started watching more of first. Yeah. And then it gives you more of that.
Yeah, it's crazy how it all works. But I think, it just can become so all consuming and such a addictive like thing.
like on that algorithm point, like because the Ashes is on, and Brayden and I have been conversing a lot about the Ashes. But my YouTube algorithm is all cricket now, and it's really annoying me. I'm like, where's all the other stuff I used to look at? Like, it's not even on, like, that's just on YouTube. But I think it's something to be really, really wary of as Christians. And I think sometimes we can use the word naive. It's not affecting me. I'm like, 100% is. And we talked about on the Shockers Order last week, Brayden, about how if we want, because we were talking about the 6-7 meme and stuff like that. But it was like, if we want, like, the crew that we're leading, for example, to not be so into their phones and more incarnate and enjoying the relationships that we have with each other physically, then we need to model that too. I was really struck by that. Like, I don't know if I'm doing that, but I think that was a great point to bring up.
Oh, we've had some fun things. I think Gem came on youth camp. And I think it was your suggestion from another church's camp. The second youth camp we did. Or was it the first? Was it both of them? I think it was the second one. Yeah. Jem suggested another church had done no phones, and we did it, and it was great. And we did it again last time, and it was great. And then it's been fun when we walk into commitments. At least I'm upstairs with Jake with the 9 and 10 boys. Like one of them grabs one of the boxes that's in the room that's for like a board game and just chucks in the middle, and they chuck their phones in there.
Oh, okay, cool.
And one of them normally goes and gets the box as we walk in. So that's been a really fun kind of like...
That's them doing it.
Yeah, exactly. Them taking ownership over that space, which is normally really cool. Which has been a really cool flow on from the youth camp thing, which I think we were a bit like, I don't know how they're going to take this. But then both times we've done it, it's been great. It's worked. Yeah. So, but that starts with you as a leader making a commitment that it's like, I can't be on my phone. If I'm telling them, hey, phones are bad, and you should really be hanging out with each other and doing stuff, you can't then be on your phone.
That's right.
Yeah.
It's like a similar thing of like, I've heard like if you go out for dinner, everyone puts their phones face down in the middle of the table, and the first person to reach has to pay for dinner.
Oh, I like that.
But it's a similar thing though. I had a time when I was like at home with the kids. For some reason, I just kept looking at my phone. I don't know why. And I just said, like, Everly, take my phone away and go and put it on the charger. And she's like, oh, does it need to be charged? I'm like, no. I keep looking at it too much. Just take it away from me. She's like, oh, okay. But I love it when my kids call me out on it. And they go, I think I had a really rough night, and I took my youngest to dancing, and I probably was just looking at my phone too much, probably because I was so tired and worn out. And that's, what you're saying. You're like, oh, this will help me feel better.
Yeah.
And at the end, Remy goes, you're on your phone. Like, you weren't watching me, you're on your phone. I'm like, well, what I did do most of the time was stop looking at my phone when it was your turn to whatever you were doing. However, you're right. I need to stop looking at my phone. And then I haven't done it ever since then, I don't think. Unless I get a text, that's it.
Yeah.
And I think it's really important to model that. But also to model your fallibility in it. Like, I think if you model to the young crew that you're leading, or even your kids, and go, yeah, you're right, I shouldn't have done that. I think it's like, if you say, oh, well, I'm older, I can do that. They're like, well, then I can do it too. Yeah. Like, what your actions don't back up your words. It's like that old saying of, what is it? Do as I say, not do as I do. I'm like, well, that's stupid. I really dislike sayings like that. But yeah, I think that's I like it that you've opened up that conversation, because I was thinking also when you were saying how it helped you with just in terms of how your mental well-being was a couple of weeks ago, Jai did a sermon on God, why is there suffering in the world? And he talked about how when we are suffering, we're prone to isolating ourselves too. And when you're saying, you didn't have a good day, it's a very mild level of suffering, right? But you don't feel great. So then you try and kind of, for want of a better word, medicate yourself with looking at your phone and stuff. Yeah. But would you agree with that looking at your phone more like causes you to isolate, would cause you to feel at least you need to isolate yourself more?
Oh, definitely. And I think, like the act of it is quite isolating. And I think even in like mine and Jake's context, like there'd be times where we'd be at home together in separate rooms on our phones. It's like, what are we doing? where's the like conversation? Where's the like hanging out?
Yeah, totally.
But I think back to like during COVID, like I think you've just kind of reminded me of kind of where this kind of, I guess, manifested the most was, I think in COVID when we couldn't have that physical connection with people and be together, the phone was the place where we were getting that.
Yeah.
But that was also quite isolating. Even though we're like connecting with people through like online means, I think that became quite a negative thing where it was like, oh, they're doing this, like how come they get to do this and I'm, you know, stuck here at home or what, you know, while we're physically isolated, I think it kind of became the only line of communication. So I became really dependent on that, but it also became probably one of the more upsetting things that would affect me like during that physical isolation. So I think it's it's really capable of making you feel really lonely and the comparison to others is huge. And I think for me, like the path that I have walked in terms of like my study trajectory and starting my career, like I'm only my second year into my teaching career, and like if it had been straightforward for me, I probably would be in my 4th or 5th year of my career. So I think watching everyone like finish uni, do this, like get married, have kids, like just watching everyone seem to follow the like perfect path, I think that makes you feel like, oh, am I doing it all wrong? Like
What you said before is a bit of a thing. You were saying it wasn't happening in the order you expected it to happen.
Yeah, definitely. So I think that also in itself was tricky. And then when I did like finally graduate, it's like, oh, I actually feel a bit of shame here, like posting that I've graduated because I feel late. I feel like I've taken too long to do that. Yeah. But even like, it's like, no, I should be like, it's an achievement to graduate, whether you do it straight away, like whether it's straightforward or whether it takes you a bit longer, like it's still an achievement. So I think, it can bring about so much doubt, I think, when you're looking at other people's, you know, worlds and looking at your own. And I think, you also then have the question of identity. Like I feel like there's so much that is tied to this that it's like, you need a whole perspective like reshift, which I think is interesting because the first episode I was on was called A Different Perspective. Yeah. And I think I have like, you know, got a very different perspective to when like I started. So
different perspective.
Different.
Part 2.
Was the first episode pre-Disney or post-Disney?
Post-Disney. It was like right in the thick of COVID actually. Yeah. Like I think about like what my life was like then, and it's like, I actually was like really sad and really anxious a lot of the time. And I think I look back at that version of myself and I'm like, wow, like it's so God is so good. Like he's really good in his provision and the way that he looks after us, I think. And just bringing you out of things, I think. Yeah.
Oh, it's really exciting. I get the feeling that you are happier in a sense, like overall. Like, but there's something a link between, I think, maybe not happiness, because I think always I like hearing happiness described as a state. Like it's I feel happy now. Yeah. But I feel like when you're talking about resilience, is that it's almost like you're more content. But then as a result, like you're more resilient. Like they feed each other. Yes. Yeah. But then you can go through even more difficult things too, but you're still, I don't know, I'm maybe just reflecting on how I feel about like the person I was, like you were saying when you know, how old were you when you recorded your first one? That would have been
I would have been like 21 or 22.
Yeah. So I think about the person I was now to the person I am now, as Brandon constantly reminds me as an old man.
Yeah, nearly 40.
So,
I love the subtle reminder, like,
you did it last week on the podcast.
on the weekly.
Yes. He's like, you were born before 1981, weren't you, Joel? How dare you?
Age is just a number.
That's right. Yes. I feel like that's just a number.
But life gives you perspective naturally. You know
that's
what I mean?
What it is. Yeah. I think also God, like, he's like, you have to go through hard stuff. It doesn't mean you have to really suffer with like someone,
or you need to seek it out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But there is also something about like the resilience, like freaking sticking at it. And I think like God has made us to be stress tested in a way. Like even you think about like, you know, you go to the gym, your body gets stressed in a way to be better, be stronger. And I know this sounds like quite self-help bro science, but there's like this, I'm trying to make this link between how God has made us to be stressed to be better in so many different ways. And I think that's what you're talking about. I'm not articulating it very well.
And I think like also like one of the things that ties in with all of what you said is like, I think, happiness is not the word that I would choose, but I would choose like the word joy. Like I think,
that's a good one.
You know, joy doesn't mean you're happy all the time, but I think, there's that joy and contentment in like, oh, God is actually really good, and I trust in His plan, and I, want to keep going about my life, making sure that He is a big part of what I'm choosing to do and how I go about what I do.
It's like your baseline is higher. I think you don't have these troughs and valleys. I mean, I've never really experienced depression, for example, but I think for me, my personal perspective is that I'm much less of the real lows.
Yeah.
And as a result, sometimes you don't get as the bigger the highs because you get out of the lows so much.
Yeah.
But it's, joy is the perfect word to describe that, I think, which is what everyone else probably should have just said that. There's more joy.
Definitely. And I think, the way mental health can manifest itself can be so, full, encompassing. Like, you know, you can experience the physicalization of that weight of the sadness or the anxiety or the pressure. But I think, as I have kind of found better management and like sort out, you know, God and actually gone, hey God, like this is really hard. Can you help me? I think you just feel that weight is slowly lifting. So I think I'm not dropped down to those, lower depths in terms of the pressure, but it's like, no, God is actually walking with me and I'm not by myself. So I think, there's that. It's just a perfect reminder. And I think as I have started, you know, working with young people who are experiencing these real lows, like I have worked with some students who have really severe struggles and really heavy things going on in their life. But I think the journey I have walked has helped me to be able to speak into their lives a little bit and help them kind of, swim a little bit higher, I think.
I like that, swim a little bit higher. I thought of Nemo then. But I think that's also one of the reasons God puts us through those struggles, whatever they are, is that so you can help others as well. Like we've just heard how you had an influence on what you chose to do at the youth camp, but then also in your teaching perspective. And you're like, what? Like sometimes they're like, that resilience factor again is like, why is this even happening to me? Like, why is it? And then like 10 years later, I can share my experiences with younger guys, especially, that we go, you know, like I remember something similar, or I know this, or I see what you're doing. I can't relate to what you're doing, but I can tell you that when you feel the lowest of your load, like you can get through it because I'm still here, that kind of thing. But then I think also to help remind people that like even your darkest days as a Christian, there is hope that heaven is there. And I think so much of our worry comes from our fear of death. Yeah. But the thing is like I still fear death.
Oh, definitely.
But there's also this thing of like, oh, but if I do die, I get to go to heaven. Yeah,
that's right. That's right.
Are you the same, Bren? Like when you were growing up, we kind of reflected on like from the age of like 21 until, as you said, you know, double that.
Yes.
But, not so much for Gemma. Only 4 years. But yeah, do you reckon you went through similar things?
Yeah, I think like it's really cool to reflect on like that, and I think you'd agree as well. That shift between your early 20s and your mid 20s, That's
It
a
is a
time
big
that
one.
flies by so quickly, but also
Yeah.
you have that massive growth, that time of growth where you really like go from, you have to take responsibility of so many aspects of your life that is even kind of more than like 18 to like finishing school and going to uni is huge and you're figuring out those aspects, but then like being engaged and like getting married and
full-time work.
and being like, I have to pay an electricity bill, like stuff like that.
Dead set. Get a car service. Like,
Yeah, exactly. Like, oh no, like, yeah. I think those kind of experiences shape you massively, and you have those experiences more and more, and that helps you hopefully build more resilience or build systems that mean that you can do that. Like, I think it's a very big thing being like, oh, I've got casual work 3 times a week or something, to then being like, oh no, I've got work Monday to Friday, and then next week I've got work Monday to Friday, and then next week I've got work Monday to Friday. I need to build systems around myself so that I can do that, so that I can actually go to work on Monday, and so that I can, I'm going to work Monday to Friday now, and now I need to figure out what ministry looks like around that, because I don't have 2 or 3 days off during the week to do whatever I want to do or to fill in aspects of that. What does it look like to go to Bible study when I'm really tired? What does it look like to wake up and go to church on a Sunday morning and do music ministry at 8 o'clock in the morning when I'm really tired and I know I have to go to work tomorrow? Like stuff like that. I think that's when the rubber hits the road, I feel like, in terms of you're not just going, wow, this is great and I've got time to do this. It's like, oh, what does it look like to be a Christian while doing the things that I'm going to have to be doing, like working full time or being a parent full time or all kinds of aspects, but having that realization that like, oh, this isn't the next like 2 or 3 years. This is going to be life. Like how and how do I build systems around myself that help me keep growing as a Christian, keep growing as a person, and actually survive this. And I think you've identified rightly, Gem, like a lot of people go, well, I need to regulate myself and I'll find something to regulate myself. And for a lot of people, that's their phone or social media or TV or something that they can withdraw into. And some people might use a book unhealthily. Like I'm not just picking on phones.
Sure.
Yeah.
But how can, or something more sinister, alcohol or things like that, like to retreat from those things or to relax. And we use lots of things to relax, but I think it's about helping yourself realize like, oh, how do I help myself to keep moving forward during these responsibilities instead of keep withdrawing. I think that's a big change from your mid-20s, hopefully, to your from your early 20s to your mid-20s to your late 20s. That's a big shift. You stop thinking about like, okay, I finished school. What's next? Oh, uni. Okay, I need to finish that. It's like all of a sudden you're in the position. You've worked really hard to get to the position that you're in, like say full-time teaching or a full-time job or whatever you're doing, and you're like, oh, this is what it is for the next little bit.
100%.
And maybe it doesn't line up with the roadmap that you see on social media that is like, oh, you're a good Christian and then you go and do this and then you go to uni and then you finish and then you have kids and then you have your 3 perfect kids and then you do this and then you do that and then you go on your holiday around Australia in a caravan, like all that crap.
All that crap.
But yeah, you need to figure out, but then you also meet those roadblocks that mean that those things might not happen for you and you have to deal with that and figure out what God actually, how does God both fit into your life, but also how do you show him the respect and reverence of building your life around him instead of building your life around what your expectations going to be. It goes from expectation to reality, I feel like, in your 20s.
That's a really good point. And like, again, my person, like I had, like Leo was born when I was 27 and that just had, the reason I'm really reflective on Leo at the moment is today's his last day of primary school.
Yeah.
So I'm about to move into a new era of all my children being at school next year.
Teenagers as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And like I am struggling a little bit with it, like grappling with, and I think partly that's why I was talking about like me looking at X too much, is like not really understanding like my identity is shifting even as a father. And he isn't even like grappling with that as well. He's like, oh, I have to go to high school next year. I have to catch a train by myself.
It's a big
It's a long
change.
way around. Yeah. And I think what the thread between all these things that we're talking about is that like God is, you've spoken about his provision already, Gem, but just the fact that he is working through all these scenarios, and I can't see it right now because I'm pretty, I don't know why I'm pretty sad. I think it's just because it's a real shift in identity of like, I don't have babies to look after anymore. I don't, like, they are becoming their own people, and they'll still rely on me to a degree, but they're going to rely on me less and less. So I'm like, oh, that was it gave me meaning and purpose, knowing that, yeah, I have to work hard, I have to have a job, but like my kids are so much to me that like you have to, and I think I put heaps of pressure on myself to be like, make sure they have a good childhood, like make sure they, in good ways, make sure they're resilient, make sure they go through hard things, make sure like all of that. And I think partly would be comparing it to my own experience, comparing it to what I see other parents do. And you can get caught up in just, I'm not doing enough, or I'm not doing even the standard, the expectation compared to what the reality is. But an understanding of like, I'm sinful and sin is in the world and my children are going to be sinful too. And we can't, like, you can't fully make that go away. Sometimes you end up almost trying to be your children's Jesus, which is, you can't be. That's impossible, right?
Yeah.
And I think it's a reminder and a humbling experience of going, still, even though these things are good, God is the one that is in charge of this. And therefore he will put you through suffering when you think you need it. And he'll also put you through really amazing, exciting, joyful times as well. And I think that's where the joy is.
Oh, definitely.
I think that's where I'm getting the joy from.
Yeah.
Definitely.
And I think the aspect when you're younger is always thinking about the next thing. It's always, and if you view, and I think social media presents life a little bit like a ladder where it's like you need to have the next step to get to the next step to get to the next step. And I think as you realize, as you go through it, you start like, and I think resonating a lot with what you've said, Gem, is like you realize like, I'm instead of burning this time that I'm in right now to then hopefully experience more happiness in the next stage, you start to find joy. You need to find joy in the stages that you're in, and you start to find joy in the experience that you're in, rather than being like, well, I'll be happy once I hit that next stage that these other people have. And then hopefully if I do this decision right and I do this, then I'll have a mortgage, or I'll have this type of family. And then once I'm there, then I'll need to do the next thing and the next thing. And I think, it's finding joy in where God has put you, rather than seeking joy in wherever you might hope to be next.
Oh, for sure. And I think like God humbles us through that process too.
Absolutely.
Like I reflect on once I did start my teaching career, like the first year I kind of started to grapple if youth ministry was the place that was going to be where God wanted me to continue to be. And I think I have placed my identity in that for so long of like, I'm a youth leader. This is what I do, and I love it, and I still do have such a heart for youth ministry. And that was a really heartbreaking thing when it started to feel like God was like, no, this is not what I want you to do anymore. You need to stop. And that looked like a few different things, and the way that kind of decision came to be. But I remember just like sitting with the other coordinators, and it's like, it's heartbreaking. Like, it's actually like, I feel so humbled that it's like, God is like, this is what I want you to do. This is going to be a hard thing. I remember the first week Jake went to youth and I was at home. I was like, this is actually really sad. I was like, I feel really sad that I'm not doing this. But I also know that when I was doing it, it just wasn't, God wasn't using me in the way that I think he wanted to be using me in that space with the nature of my work. And I think trusting God's movements in that and God's I guess, word into that was really hard. And I think even after I kind of stopped doing youth for a while, because I think back to the episode that I was first on, it's like I was a youth leader, I was doing Berea. I remember when we were recording church, like I would be in quite frequently, like helping host church digitally. Like there's so many things I was like so hands-on. And I think, you know, when your life changes so much, you don't have that same capacity. I think I've really had a bit of an identity crisis of like, what does my ministry life look like? And like I realized how much of my identity was being placed in the ministry that I do, rather than the, you know, the God that is working through me, and the God's hand on youth ministry and on the different things that happen at our church. So I think, God does humble us through those changings of seasons. And I think I have learnt over the, you know, various changes that have happened over the last 4 years to just like trust and go, okay, I'm here for the ride. Like where are you going to use me? Like what's going to be the next thing?
But that's resilience.
Definitely, 100%. And I think when I started to let go, it's like that's where the resilience actually can come sometimes, because you're actually putting so much trust in God and trust in his plan, that it's like, okay, I've got to find strength in that and not, you know, cling to trying to control everything, you know.
Yeah. That's kind of what you do with anxiety though, isn't
100%.
it? You're trying to control what happens in the future.
100%.
Yeah. The thing that really struck me when you're talking about is that maybe the times that God often humbles us the most is when he challenges our identity. And that he's like, no, your identity is too much in this thing rather than me. And I think, that's where you really, that's so fascinating to go that when he's doing that, he's actually he's working on allowing our resilience based on him to come to the fore, rather than almost like a grin and bear it resilience that you were talking about previously, which again then is where the joy comes from, because you can be resilient when resting on him, and as a result you're like, I can think about the hope that I have in heaven. I can go, this can pass as well. It likely will pass, but not always. But also there's a super amount of joy in that, knowing that he's refining you. And you still can't, that's the other thing I think I've got better at, is that knowing that when I'm going through something hard, that God is doing it for a reason. I can't see it, and I'm okay. I'm better now going, I can't see the purpose of this right now. But I know that maybe 5 years, 10 years down the road, I go, that's what God was doing. That's why he was doing this. And then I think knowledge of that, again, is humbling. So it can be very cyclical to feed each other. But I think you've got me thinking a lot now. I mean, like I said, I'm in a very reflective mood, just like Leo finishing after 6 years of primary school. It's like,
oh, definitely turning a new leaf. And I also feel like it's the time of year. Like, you've got a big season of change coming up, but I think, you kind of get to the end of the year, you're like, oh, like what is the year that has been? What has happened over the year? What do I want to do in the new year? Like, you know, you kind of start thinking, quite reflectively. I can't even speak. That's holiday Gemma. No.
You're fine.
But like you start thinking about, you know, where to next, what's happened, how am I going to cope with this next thing? But I think, keeping our eyes fixed on God and his plan and what he has done, I think is a really helpful way to look ahead and go, he has already done this, like how good is it going to be as he continues to, you know, in the next season, like what is he going to do through Leo, like as he steps into high school? Like there's going to be new cool opportunities there for you as a dad, but also for him as a high schooler.
You're right. Oh, thank you. That's really nice. But I suppose what I was going to ask you, what are you looking forward to in 2026?
I feel like I haven't actually like sat and thought too much about this yet. So this is a good question.
Let's do a yearly review.
A yearly review. Get me back next year.
Yeah.
The Christmas ep. No.
Gemma Christmas episode. Lewis yearly catch up. Gemma Christmas episode.
We should back to back at like Lewis and then Gemma. That would be pretty cool. And then the OG3 to finish the year. Maybe we'll try and do that next year.
How good.
We'll forget about it by next year.
I think, this year's been a really interesting year, and I think Jake and I have like sat and spent a lot of time thinking about how this is the first year kind of since we've been married where things in a way have felt a bit more settled, and I think contentment has been a big thing that we've both experienced, because I think the first few years of our marriage, like we're both working casually, we're both finishing up uni degrees. I graduated at the start of this year, which was like a really huge thing. And I think the prospect of even just going into a school holidays where it's like, I'm not trying to work a casual job in between teaching contracts, or I'm not trying to do a summer subject to finish uni. Like, it's like, oh, like I actually can rest.
Holiday Gemma can holiday Gemma.
Holiday Gemma can holiday Gemma. Like, let me tell you. So I think there's been a lot of really nice things this year. I think in my work, I've had lots of really cool opportunities. I think I still am thinking about like where I want to be in ministry. Like I have joined the late night team. I've kind of slid into that space, which has been really nice and really encouraging. There's heaps of girls that have started coming to late night, and I think that's been a huge thing that's changed in the last 4 years. Like I think 4 years ago, we're just having chats like, where are the girls? Like what's happening with late night?
Too many dudes on the dance floor.
But like it's been so encouraging. So I think the way that I've been building relationship in that space, like I've enjoyed being part of the music team. Like we do that together a lot, Brayden. And I think, in terms of ministry, I'm keen to keep seeing how God wants to use me in that space. I think work, I feel really privileged to be in a Christian school where I do get to speak about my faith, particularly with the subjects that I teach. They're so content driven that it's like, it's actually really nice to be able to speak about my own personal views when it comes to creating content and developing either a performance or an artwork or a video or whatever like we're creating in the subjects that I teach. But I think I'm really excited to keep having some of those conversations. I've going into the third year of teaching one of the classes that I've had since they're in year 9. So they're about to finish next year. So I'm keen to, keep asking God for opportunities to speak into their lives before they finish up school. But I think there's a lot of like really cool things for next year, and I think I'm just keen to see how God is going to keep working. I think with Jake's, realm, like he's kind of looking to see where God wants him to be, and is really open to new opportunities that the new year could bring. So I think, we're in like quite a good space of contentment right now, and just open to.
That's cool.
Yeah, what God has to offer.
I was sorry if I was looking at my phone a little bit, but I was looking for. People do these annual review things, so I was going to try and get some questions out of that. But what do you think? It talks about energy. What do you think created energy for you this year and drained energy for you this year?
Ooh.
What do we all answer? We'll all answer that question.
Yeah, I think that's a good question to answer. I think one thing that did create a lot of energy for me, which I kind of just mentioned, I think, is all of the new girls that have started coming to late night. And I think the energy at late night has been really encouraging. So I think that's a church thing that's energized me. I think in terms of just like personal life, like Jake and I got to go on our first overseas trip together this year, which was like
London,
went to London, which was just like really epic. I loved it there. It was just, I think as a person that loves the arts, like being in London, like seeing shows, going to art, like it's just like, it was just amazing there. So I think that was really energizing to even come back into the classroom and be like, I saw this piece of theatre, let's chat about it. Let's think about how I'm going to use that in the classroom. And I've been energized by my students in that class. But I also think, at the same token, they have been draining to an extent. Like so much love with respect, but a little bit draining at times. And I think towards the end of like this last term was quite challenging, and I think part of that was going on that big trip at the start of the term, then coming back report season, like doing all of that. And this year was kind of the first time, like last year when I was teaching, I had a lighter teaching load, so I didn't have as many reports to do or things like that, but it's just like, oh my gosh, I'm so drained by this. So I think I've been working at trying to find ways to make that more manageable for next year. But yeah, I think that's been my energize and de-energize.
Yeah, cool. Got anything to add to that, Braden?
What's giving me energy? I think, like Gem's been talking about, I'm about to go through a big shift in terms of life stages, which is exciting. In a reflective mood like you, Joel. Like last Friday was Beck's last youth, like official youth. Yeah. So that's 10 years of us youth leading together. So that was, I don't think I'd really realised that until afterwards. So I think my year has been energizing through most of it has been like finishing off one season and moving into the next, which has been exciting. But again, like we've talked about, like trying to find contentment and joy in where you're at instead of skipping to the next thing, I think has been big. I think I feel like that's, you get a little glimpse of that when you're engaged, when you're like, oh, we just want to be married. And it's like, just enjoy being engaged for a little while and figuring that thing out. And I think when pregnancy is a bit like that, you're like, oh, I just want them to be here and like to hit that next stage. But it's like, enjoy this part. Like this is its own part and it's a special part.
Yeah, so God's created that rhythm for a
reason.
reason.
Exactly. Yeah. And it's a time of like preparation and also reflection and joy. I think what I've got joy from this year has been like tying off a lot of things, but also looking forward to a lot of things. What's been draining? I think it's just the usual kind of rhythm of the year. I think that, again, that hard process of tying off things and starting new things meant that a lot of things overlapped. So I was doing lots of things at once. So I think the drain has just been also just trying to figure out what your week looks like when you're doing full-time ministry and balancing that with a whole bunch of other things. But
Yeah, I feel like the thing what we're talking about is the things that drain us and also give us energy is, again, that thing of where the joy is in it. Like we are going through difficult things in our own experience, and it's kind of like how God's working through that, because you were really lovely there saying that I have been thinking about it all morning. It's like, well, what is my identity now as a father? And you just said, oh yeah, but you're going to do great things, like amazing things, or not amazing things, but you know, there's going to be some really lovely things to come out of having all children at school as well. And you're 100% right. I just needed to have someone to give me that perspective. And on that, the thing that gives me energy, we've talked about, extroverts and introverts, but I love church. I don't think I've each year I look back and go, I'm so blessed to have the church environment that I love being part of. And as part of that, like I preached 2 sermons this year, which were hard, but also I'm like, I kind of like enjoyed doing it. It was hard, like fitting it in. Like it took me 3 or 4 weeks to prepare each one, kind of thing. But I knew that was the case because I knew it was coming up. I'm like, if I want to try and do a reasonable job, I need to start working on this now. And it was hard fitting it all in, and early mornings and late nights doing it. But I got to know God's word better.
Oh, definitely.
Which therefore gives me more joy / energy. So I think that's been something really good for me. And I think, sometimes, like I said, with being a dad, I'm always like, I want to be on for my children all the time, like not letting them down and always being there for them and always, but also letting them grow and like being okay with letting them go and make mistakes and stuff like that too. So I suppose that's probably the thing that like has kind of drained me as well, is probably it's my own fault as well, of just probably putting too much pressure on myself to do that. Yeah, I think there's probably a few things for me as well, which is, again, like, and I think also like one thing that gives me energy is like having these conversations. So I'm like, I feel like this conversation has been at the right time for me too, as a result. And like, it's another exciting thing is the way that we've built the communications team this year. What we kind of made for carols this year, I was really excited about. And then as you and I are having preliminary discussions about you talking about your ministry and possibly getting involved in communications as well. That excites me a lot. Like, I don't know, you know, like in bank robber movies and stuff, how they like do the montage of putting the team together. They're my favourite scenes because they're like, because that's what I love doing. I love building teams and finding out what people are great at or what they're interested in or excited about and trying to put them in a position to do it. And doing that through communications, whether it's Hudson or Chloe, or yourself or some other people that are like, and Jamie's contributed this year and stuff, is that excites me a lot. So that gives me heaps of energy. And then the inability to not spend more time on it drains my energy because that's what I really love doing. So I think that's an interesting thing about energy management too, is like, and a balance between like, what have you been gifted for and what's God giving you gifts for? And then sometimes when you can't do it as much, like how do you navigate that? Which is probably something that I've been working on for a number of years now, which is good. It's another way of God growing me as well. So, well, I think that's a pretty good way to finish the podcast.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
Do you have any final words that you would like to wrap up the chips with? Oh, we would like to give you a badge. While you're doing that, wrapping up, I was going to call you Harper.
Do we want to ask the last question? Because we wouldn't have done that last time.
Oh, that's a good point. Yeah, while you're bringing so you already have a yellow one. Oh, nice. You already have a yellow chip lunch badge. But we'd like to gift you a black chip lunch badge as well.
For the collection, for
Yes.
the pool room.
I was telling someone at work who's younger than me, have you ever seen The Castle? He's like, nah. I'm like, dude, that's one of the greatest Australian movies ever. In your Christmas break, you need to make sure you watch it, mate. And he's like, oh, all right, I will.
All right.
Oh, yeah, put it in the pool room. It's so like, Dad, dug a hole. Jousting sticks.
I know, it's so good. It's so good.
But yes, Braden, I think that is a great point, is to ask the question is, would you like to?
I don't really remember how to phrase it, so you can.
Well, we've done 2 podcast episodes now, and we've talked about different parts of your life. Looking back, and you like, it was really cool for you to reflect, like, even the person you were then, Disney Gemma.
Gemma.
Returned from Disney Gemma because of COVID to now you've grown a lot, even in 4 years. Looking back in your life, what would you want to tell your younger Christian self?
Oh, that is a hard question. So many things. I think just the reminder of like, this thing is for a season. It's for a time. You know, suffering, and like as Jai kind of spoke about in his sermon a few weeks ago, it's like suffering it's not always something that is going to go on forever. It's going to be for a time. And I think, you know, just a reminder to fix your eyes, like keep fixing your eyes on Jesus, I think.
Get your glasses.
Get your glasses on. Honestly, I should be wearing my glasses. No, but seriously, I think, fix your eyes on Jesus and just cling to him when it's good and when it's not good. Which feels a very basic thing to say, but I feel like, you know, I just look back and I go, yeah, like God was there. I think just there were times where I didn't remember that he was there. So I think just remembering.
Didn't look for him.
I didn't look for him. Yeah, it's like he's there. Like it's going to be okay. So I think that's what I would tell, 4 years ago, Gemma, particularly. But yeah.
Well, I think this podcast came at the right time. If it's been 4 years. Thank you for coming on.
My pleasure.
It's been very fun.
Yeah, I love it.
And I appreciate your reflective perspective.
Reflective perspective.
That might be a title of the podcast. Brent, anything else you want to add?
Oh, it's just been fun again to think back to that time when we did the first one, but also, there's a lot of changes over that time. And like you've mentioned, like wrapping up, after school care. I'm like, oh man, was that then? That's wild.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Were
It was
you even in college then?
I
when
would
you
have
started?
been about to start.
Yeah.
Wow.
Or just started.
Yeah, right.
Literally,
I
like the
remember.
end of the episode. Like this
Yeah.
is like I did listen to the
Yeah.
full episode last night.
And you said
But,
before, like a bit narcissistic.
I was like, well, this is a bit narcissistic. But we were like literally having walkie-talkie banter at the end, talking about the G-Pack walkie-talkies. like
Yeah.
the sound quality on here at least is
Yeah.
better. But like,
Yeah.
you know, like just that, I feel like it's so different. Like we
Yeah.
used to spend our shifts just like talking about church and like we're doing
Yeah.
Berea and
Yeah.
all this. And it's like
Yeah.
now our worlds are so
Yeah.
different. But
Yeah.
like God
It's
has,
so random.
you know, been good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I got emailed my full college transcript this morning being like,
Hey.
hey, you're
Ew.
done. So, yeah.
Finally,
Yeah.
It's random.
big tick.
Big
That is
tick.
a really big
Yeah.
tick.
Well done, bro.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
awesome. It was very, it's a weird full circle moment this morning.
Time
We're
to
all,
get that-
we're all having our little reflective
little
moment.
moments.
Actually,
This
Get your
morning.
cap and gown. Let's go.
Yeah, they're like, oh, this is
Should've
how
worn
much it
that
is to
today.
rent it. I'm like, oh, anyway.
we should have
Anyway.
all just worn.
Worn our cap and gown next time. This is
Then
the
it's like-
academia episode.
I'm not on that
We're going to go
episode.
through our degrees.
It sounds like a start of a musical.
Yes, this is
And
the
then-
Hex episode of
Yeah.
the podcast.
Yeah, you need to write one. You write a musical with.
That's it.
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah.
All right. Well, thank you. It's been very academic, very fun, very reflective, and thank you, Braden,
Thank you, Joel.
and thank you very much, Gemma.
Thanks,
That
guys.
was a lot of
This was
fun.
fun.
And thank you for everyone listening and watching. We appreciate you very much. And we finish. You know, we're very close to episode 200, Gemma.
Yeah,
Yeah,
How good.
amazing.
yeah.
Prepare for the special guest.
Yeah.
Episode 200.
Thank you to those who've been around since Gemma's first episode.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. that's a
Yeah,
good
shout out
point.
to those that have listened. Like
Day one.
day ones right there.
Ride with my day ones. All right, we're going to finish this episode with a one-way. Thanks, guys.